The rain hit like gravel on his visor. Jason was 3 hours from home, standing at a petrol station somewhere past Goulburn, when his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. The voice on the other end was shaking. A woman, mid-50s, maybe older. She said her name was Carol. She said her husband had collapsed at their property near Braidwood. Ambulance was coming, but they were 40 minutes out, maybe more. She'd seen Jason pull up on his bike. She was parked across the road in a ute, watching him fuel up. She'd been trying to work out if she should ask. "I need insulin," she said. "Dave's diabetic. I left it at the chemist in Goulburn. I can't leave him. Please." Jason looked at the road behind him, then the road ahead. Goulburn was an hour back through the rain. Braidwood was another 30 minutes past that. Dirt roads included. His tank was half full. His jacket was soaked through. He could have said no. Should have. Probably. But he didn't. The mission was simple. Get to the chemist in Goulburn. Pick up the insulin. Ride it out to a property 15 k's past Braidwood before Dave's blood sugar dropped too far. Carol gave him the address, the chemist's name, her phone number. She said the ambos were on their way, but if his levels crashed before they got there, insulin was the only thing that would keep him stable. Jason had never met these people. He didn't know Dave, didn't know Carol, but he knew what happened when time ran out. He kicked the bike over and turned back into the storm. The ride to Goulburn was a blur of white lines and water. Trucks threw spray across his lane. The wind shoved him sideways every time he passed a gap in the trees. His hands were numb inside his gloves. His phone was tucked in his jacket, buzzing every few minutes. He didn't stop to check it. The chemist was still open when he got there. Barely. The woman behind the counter looked at him like he'd crawled out of a drain. Wet leathers, wild eyes, talking too fast. He gave her Carol's name. She disappeared into the back and came out with a small insulated bag. "Is this an emergency?" she asked. "Yeah," Jason said. "It is." She handed it over. He didn't wait for the receipt. If you're into real Aussie biker missions like this, subscribe, because this ride gets risky fast. The road to Braidwood was worse. No streetlights. No traffic, just rain and distance. And the constant fear that he'd miss the turn. Carol had texted him directions, but his phone was nearly dead and the screen kept dimming in the wet. He memorized the landmarks. Left at the pub, right at the sale yards. Dirt road after the cattle grid. The dirt road was a nightmare. Mud grabbed at his tires. Ruts sent the bike lurching sideways. He had to slow down, way down, just to keep it upright. Every second felt like a loss. He thought about Dave, alone in a house somewhere ahead, waiting on a stranger to show up with the one thing that could keep him conscious. He thought about turning around, not seriously, but the thought was there. Halfway down the dirt road, his bike started stuttering, fuel light on. He'd burned through more than he'd expected, fighting the wind and the mud. He had maybe 10 k's left in the tank. Maybe less. The property was 12 k's away. Jason eased off the throttle and prayed the math was wrong. He made it to the gate with the engine coughing. Killed it before it died on him. Walked the bike up the long gravel driveway in the dark, boots sinking into the mud. The insulin bag pressed against his chest. The house lights were on. Carol was at the door before he reached the veranda. She looked at him, looked at the bag, didn't say anything, just took it and disappeared inside. Jason stood there, dripping, shaking from the cold and the adrenaline. He could hear voices inside, low and urgent, then quiet. A minute later, Carol came back out. Her face was different, softer. She nodded. "He's all right," she said. "He's awake. You got here in time." Jason didn't know what to say. He just nodded back. Carol asked if he needed fuel. He said yeah. She grabbed a jerry can from the shed and filled his tank while he sat on the veranda, too tired to do it himself. When she was done, she pressed a folded $100 note into his hand. He tried to give it back. She wouldn't take it. "You didn't have to do this," she said. "Yeah," Jason said. "I did." The ambulance arrived 20 minutes later. Jason was already gone. He made it home just before midnight, soaked to the bone, hands cramping, legs stiff. His phone was full of missed calls. His mates asked him where he'd been. He didn't answer any of them. He just sat in his shed, staring at his bike, thinking about the ride, thinking about the choice. Because that's what it was. Not a good deed. Not a rescue. Just a choice to keep going when turning back would have been easier. Jason didn't tell anyone about it for months. When he finally did, he said it like it was nothing. Just a weird night on the road. But the truth was, it changed him. Not in some grand, obvious way. Just quietly, he started seeing the road differently. Seeing people differently. Seeing himself differently. He wasn't a hero. He was just a bloke on a bike who happened to be in the right place when someone needed help. And that was enough. This wasn't just a ride. It was a choice. If this story hit you, drop a comment below. And if you know someone who'd get it, share it with them. Some stories are worth passing on.